What's good, YouTube? It's your boy Anthony. Thank you so much for tuning in to another video. And now I'm going to give you my in-depth, detailed review of Halloween Kills. So I'll do like a super brief, non-spoiler review. Like I'm talking real brief for anyone who hasn't seen the film yet. But after that, I'm going to kick right into the spoilers so we can actually really dive into the meat of the movie and why personally I didn't like it. Um, so if you had a chance, maybe you saw my fresh out of the theater reaction. So I saw this film Thursday night, the opening night, at my local AMC, and I gave my I got in the car and hit record on my phone and gave you my fresh out of theater reactions. So if you haven't seen that, you can check that out just to see how I felt like fresh out of seeing the film. And now we're gonna dive into a more in-depth, detailed review of Halloween Kills. So right off the bat, to give you like my non-spoiler rundown of why I didn't like the movie. So first off, the big thing for me was uh, it was too it was too cheesy, too cringy, like too comedic. Like the way it was structured, like you kind of had this front load of some like cool like suspense type stuff, and then you had a big section that I feel like it went into like that comedic territory even if it was even if it was unintended because of the writing it kind of came off that way, and it might just be the nature of just the cringe of it, but it went to that like comedic tone, and then we kind of lost that like suspenseful horror element that I like for Halloween for Michael Myers. um, so that was one big thing. Another thing for me were just the characters, man. The 2018 film to me had a lot better characters. This one, they brought back a lot of old characters, but I feel like they didn't really do them justice. For me, they didn't because their dialogue was just the dialogue that they were given was not great. I'm not gonna blame them. Whatever dialogue they told them to say in the script was not great. Way too many like little like corny like one line, like quotables, like little, I can't get into spoilers. So I'm not gonna say what the lines were, but just a lot of, just like corny lines that they would drop, like little quotable lines throughout the film that I wasn't feeling, and just overall like the characters did a lot of dumb shit. Like there was a couple of dumb moments. There are a few dumb moments in the 2018 one, but I feel like this movie was fucking filled with a lot of just stupid moments. So just the characters kind of dumb. And then the last one for me is the direction of the story. Um, there's one aspect of it that I do like the way they went with Michael Myers, but then there's another part of it that I don't really like, and it makes me curious if they do another one, because it kind of seems like it's gonna be like some sort of trilogy. Like, how is this gonna resolve? And like on top of that, because of the direction of the story, like, what is the third movie gonna even be? So like the story, like I don't know if I'm feeling the direction of the story anymore. And I know I haven't. One of my viewers actually posted a link to a video about a Halloween kind of purist explaining why they like the film. I haven't got a chance to watch that yet. I do want to see that, so I do understand that some purists actually really like this movie. Um, I can't really see why, but I mean when you're deep in lore on certain things, you got different perspectives, and so I mean I get it, but at least for me, in terms of it being a dope ass fun movie, um, especially leading into the third one, I feel like it's missing the mark. Uh, but yeah, like I did not think that this was a great successor to the 2018 one. I don't like the direction they're going in. It makes me a little bit less excited for the third one. But yeah, that's it. Non spoiler, not feeling this movie. If you haven't seen it yet, go ahead and check it out. I do think it's worth a watch, especially because it's also on Peacock, so you don't have to go to the movies and spend a lot of money. But for me personally, I like watching movies in the theater, especially with this film. I will say this movie had a great score. I really liked a lot of the music that was bumping throughout the film. And then I will say one of the good aspects of it was Michael Myers kills. They're kind of few far in between sometimes, but when the kills did happen, fucking Michael Myers, he was going ham. I was just like, God damn, like this dude is brutal as fuck. So that's one of the pros. So like I said, it's worth watching once. I mean, and then make your judgment after that. But I do think that even though it's not a great movie, and especially because they're gonna make this a trilogy or whatever, I do think that it's at least worth watching. because maybe they could save this and make the third one even better. Um, but if anything, watch it for the score and Michael Myers is fucking going ham. But that's my non-spoiler review. Uh, Not great, not good, not good. Let's dive into spoilers because I really do want to talk about some aspects. Because granted, I didn't like the film, but there was some actual like dope, funny, crazy ass moments in this movie that I do think are worth talking about. That had not the structure of this film been structured the way it was, and a lot of the comedic elements, this movie could have been a lot better. To be honest, when I was looking at my list of like pros, I almost feel like my pros kind of, at least in terms of like bullet points, outweighed the cons in terms of sheer numbers. But the weight of the cons is so great that it brings down the rest of the movie. Let's dive into it. Let's dive into it. So all right, so Halloween Kills, right? Again, this is the spoiler section. So if you haven't seen this movie yet, please do click off because we about to get heavy into spoilers. All right, so let's dive into my list of pros for Halloween Kills. Uh, so right off the top, because this movie, this shit literally picks up and right at the end of the 2018 Halloween, and I even mentioned in my fresh out of theater review that someone could probably take Halloween Kills and the 2018 Halloween and make like a 3.5 to 4 hour fucking supercut of the two movies together into one film. And I think that actually be kind of dope because it literally runs right into this movie. And honestly, they could probably cut out some of the dumb shit that was in Halloween Kills and then make it into like one massive like dope movie. So if anyone's watching if anyone's watching this video that does like supercuts and things like that, try to do it with this 2018 and 2021 Halloween Kills movie to see if you can create one massive film that's actually pretty decent. I think it's possible. I would love to see someone do that. But yeah, so it picks up right where we left off, and one of the first pros kind of that I like happens. There's a moment that happens in the beginning of the film, and then another one that happens later on, and there were actually some decent like emotional moments, kind of talking about taking time to grieve and like kind of some of the like the analogies there that you can kind of relate with your own life. The first one was when and I think I think the daughter's name is Karen, I believe. That might be wrong, but I think that's it. The first when she gets to the hospital, they get Lori in, and then she like goes to that. She goes like clean off her hands. She sees a wedding ring, and like in the next shot, beautiful shot. Is going across, and we got the blurred window, so you can't really see in. You can just make out the shapes, and you see her in there grieving because her husband got fucking obliterated by Michael Myers, but because things were always just happening, she never was able to take a moment to grieve, and she finally took that moment in the hospital to actually grieve about the loss of her husband. And I feel like that was a powerful moment. And there was another moment in the what would it be, like the middle of the film when everyone in the hospital was fucking losing their mind and the fucking mob mentality was happening. And because we had um we had that one scene where the mom came in and she said that she was looking for her son. I don't know if she said his name or not, and I don't even remember the kid's name. But throughout that like mob chasing the wrong Michael Myers, she happened to come across like the morgue area, and she saw her son on the table, and she just like collapsed and just started like sobbing. I was like, fuck, like that was a powerful scene. But the weight of it was taken away, and I guess you could make the argument of like the mom mentality, like no one's thinking about that shit. But I don't know, like the weight of it's taken away because of how stupid the mob mentality shit was. Like I mean, I get where they were going for with that, with everyone just jumping on the bandwagon and following, because we can see that in our own society right now, right? Like, you got one person spewing some bullshit, and then like a bunch of people like follow him and like to the fucking jumping off the cliff. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I mean, I get it. I get what they were going for, but it just didn't work. You know what I'm saying? Like, because of how like cringy and dumb the dialogue was, and just the way it was set up, like it just didn't work for me. It felt too comedic. You know what I'm saying? Like even there's one part, when Tommy goes in there and he's like, "Evil dies tonight," And then there's like this one lady in the background's like, yeah, evil dies tonight. When that happened in my theater, the whole theater fucking bust out laughing. And you could probably argue that that was intended to be funny, but I don't think it was. Like judging by everything else, I don't think it was intended to be funny. And 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 it's like it's not one of those situations where it's like bad. It's so bad that it's good. It's not that. It's just bad. We had a lot of those like cringy type of like lines. Like a lot of the times when Lori was talking to Hawkins, like in the bed, and some of the lines they were saying, like I get they're going for that like really emotional depth, but the way they were delivered was almost like a fucking like a soap opera. You know what I'm saying? Like if any of y'all watch like the fucking what is it like General Hospitals? What was the other one? There was another one. I know my mom used to watch that shit all the time back in the day. But some of those like moments where they're like having these like monologues or conversating or trying to share these deep moments, these deep emotional moments, it felt like a fucking, cable network like soap opera. And I was like, yo, like, I don't like the way this is like flowing right now. I don't like the way the dialogue's being stated. I don't like the way it's flowing. I don't like the structure. And it feels weird, feels soap opera-ish. And like we're in that tone and in this comedic tone. And I feel like once we hit that point, like we kind of lost what I like in the Halloween films, which was kind of present a little bit in the 2018 films, was like that, that hunt, like that tension, where like Michael Myers creeping around, you're just like, oh fuck, like, what's going down, what's going on, you know what I'm saying? Uh, but yeah, so that's another thing that just didn't work was a lot of the times where they're going for the emotion and the deep hitting moments that you can really relate to, and they would relate back to life were either missed because it was surrounded by like dumb shit like the mob stuff, or uh, it delivered it in such a way that it felt soap opera to the point where it didn't feel genuine anymore. It just felt off and weird. I don't know. Maybe I got that feeling, but maybe you didn't get that feeling, but that's just how I felt. Um, I know I'm kind of mixing up my pros and cons here, but getting back to like my pros list, the kills, like man, Michael Myers was brutal as fuck, dude. Like some of those kills, I was just like, damn, like man, that like once he, of course we had the fire, the firefighter scene where he, was fucking them up. That was dope. And then we had him like making his way, I guess like back home and in some of the houses that he encountered. Like, he went into that one house with the old couple and fucking obliterated them. Like, dude, that shit was brutal, man. Like when that one shot, and I will say there's a lot of like just great dope ass shots in this movie. Like that one shot where, the wife is kind of on the ground and then and it has her in focus, and then the husband's out of focus in the background, like leaning over the table, and like Michael Myers is just grabbing knives and just fucking stabbing this bitch with all these different knives, and I'm just like, fuck, like this shit is brutal. So I will say the kills, like, damn, they fucking nailed the kills, and along with the kills, some of the effects are great. Some of those practical effects, I fucking loved it, man. Like when I think it was Big John got his fucking eyeballs, gouged out. Like that was a cool practical effect moment. So the effects of the kills were good. I just didn't like the way that they were spread out. Like I hated that whole like hospital section. Um, and then we kind of lost like a lot of like the stalker ish aspects of Myers that I really like. And so after I say like that first section of the film when we lost all that, like I don't know, the kills just didn't seem as impactful because they weren't as scary, I guess. Because we didn't have that predator hunt, like the OG Halloween from I forget what it came out in the '70s, I believe. But the OG one, like having that predator hunt, stuff like that. But like we didn't get that. So while the kills were fucking great to see, as the film went on, they weren't as impactful because um, there wasn't as much suspense, the kind of suspense that I would have liked leading up to them. Like I said, there were some good suspenseful moments, but man, they were fucking few and far between. Like when he showed up with the SUV, full of the hilarious fucking black couple, and the older lady, the character. When he pulled up on that car, uh, in that scene where he obliterates everybody else, they're done, and then she like goes on the run, and then she's like hiding in the tree, and she's like covering her mouth. She's breathing all heavy, and you hear Michael Myers. You hear that breathing? Like those scenes, like we needed more of that. If this movie would have had a lot more of that shit, I'm telling you, this movie would have hit so much harder. It would have been so much better. Those were the horror elements that I wanted to see throughout the entire film. I wanted that. I want to be fucking scared this whole movie on suspense, like Michael Myers is terrorizing, stealth, apex predator hunting. Like, you know what I'm saying? The dude called him an apex predator, but the dude ain't hunting. You know what I'm saying? He's, he's making the line to the house like he usually does, and but he's not hunting. You know what I mean? He called him apex predator, but he won't hunt. Um, so I don't know. We needed more of that, but at least when the kills when they happened, they looked great. I fucking love the kills. I just wish that they had more suspense build up to them. What else I got on here? Okay, I had to mention this because this might honestly be one of the most gangster, fucking dope ass scenes ever in cinema. And that was the scene where Michael comes out of the house. Karen, she does the whole shtick from the 2018 film, where she baits him out. In the 2018 one, she's crying down in the basement. Oh, I can't do it, and he fucking pops up. Gotcha, bam, fucking shot him in the face. Now she does that again, right, with the mask. Come get your mask, Michael. Um, Pulls him outside, and then bam, the mob that Tommy has a mask is out there ready to whoop his ass, and she dropped. I think she had dropped the mask on the ground. I think, and so he goes and picks it up. Everyone's coming out of their cars and shit. Lights come on. They're surrounding him. Michael's looking around, puts the mask on, and it's like, let's fucking do this shit. And I was like, yo. I was like, I'm not feeling this movie, but that scene was fucking dope. Like, yo, Michael's a G. Like, and I was, it's funny. You watch this movie, and you're rooting for Michael the whole time. You want Michael to fuck everybody up. At least I do. Um, I don't know. I didn't care about the characters at this point. I didn't. Like, I wanted Michael to just fucking obliterate the whole Haddonfield. And I know that from like maybe a Halloween purist perspective, that's dumb as hell. But I don't know. That's what I want to see. I'm here to see Michael stalk and fuck shit up. Like, that's what I like to see with Halloween. But that scene we put that mask back on, I was like, yo, Michael's a G. This dude said. He looked around, put that mask on, was like, let's fucking go, baby. Let's go. I'm ready. Let's do this shit. Let's rumble. And I okay, from that, actually I'll wait to the end to maybe to talk about that in a little bit, because I'm gonna go into like the direction of the film, because it's kind of like my pro and a con. And I'll get into that in a second. What I am talking about, Michael Myers just really truly being the shape of evil. Um, so next to my pros, I wrote down that there were actually some genuinely funny moments. I feel like the movie started out pretty good and feeling like real genuine human characters, like the whole section in the bar, that felt like super real. You know what I'm saying? Like, it felt real genuine. I was like, man, this shit feels real. It feels good. It feels real. The old the black dude who ran the bar, like, I thought like he had some good funny moments. Probably the highlight of the comedicness was Big John, Little John. That shit was hilarious, man. I got a kick out of their just their banter, them going back and forth, and just the comedic element that they brought. That was actually an actual good comedic element that was intended, that was actually funny. Was Big John and Little John. That shit was great. I really liked those characters, and they brought some good funny moments too. So yeah, like I said, there were some good funny moments. Like when the black couple was going back to the car, she got in the car, and she thought Michael Myers was back there, and she's like, oh, go look, and the black dude's like, oh, hell no, I ain't going to look. That was like that type of stuff was funny. Uh, so like sometimes the characters work, but then sometimes they don't. And sometimes they miss. Like the kids at the park, like they had some fun. They had some funny lines. Uh, I don't remember exactly what the kids were saying at the park. I can't remember, but they said some funny shit. I need to go back and watch that part again, because they actually did say some funny stuff that I did like. Like I said, like I said, there were some actual funny moments in the film that were like intended. They were intentional, but you know, the con was like those really cringy parts that to me probably were not intended to be funny and comedic. That brought the film down majorly. Um, Now let me get to my last pro. So there's one aspect of this film that I know overall Halloween lore and story wise makes sense, and that's him always wanting to go back home and look out his fucking window. Like I get that. Um, but it kind of disappoints me. I was kind of hoping that we would see that like connection, between him and Laurie. And that's kind of a con for me personally. Is um, I don't like the direction of that story, because I feel like it's not gonna. Because to me, right, if you're saying that all Michael wants to do is go back and look out of his window, that's what he wants to do. What is the third movie going to be? This movie ends with him obliterating Karen at his sister's window, standing there, and that's all he wants to do is just fucking stand there, look out of the window. Like, what's the third film? Is the third film gonna be like a fucking Judge Dredd, like the Ray type situation, where the whole movie takes place in Michael Myers' house, and he's just John Wicking that shit and going in? That might not be a bad movie. I'm gonna be honest. If we see some shit like, have y'all seen the Collector, where the Collector set up all the traps in the house and the characters going through, like if we're seeing some shit like that where Michael Myers is John Wicking Collector style, like in his house, and people are just coming in, he's just going ham, just fucking everyone up. That might not be a bad movie, honestly. That might actually work, but I doubt they would do that. And it makes you wonder, like, what is this third movie going to be? He's at his window, he's looking out of it. That's all he wants to do. That's all he's ever want to do is just go back home to his window. How are you gonna coax him out? He's where he wants to be. He's solid. So either the last movie is gonna be fucking Dread, the Raid style, all taking place in an hour and a half in Michael Myers' house of him just wrecking shop, which if done right could be fucking dope. Not gonna lie. Uh, but I doubt that's gonna be the case. So now I'm just wondering, like, what is it? What is the third movie gonna be? Because I would hope that it would be, the stalker ish Michael, where he's on the hunt and it's, you're on the edge of your seat, you're scared as fuck. I would hope that's what it's gonna be, but maybe not. Maybe it's gonna be the action Halloween, uh, you know, uh, fucking John Wick Halloween edition. I don't know. Maybe just be called Michael Myers, like John Wick, just be called Michael Myers, and fucking you're gonna have Michael Myers' face right in the middle of the poster with all the fucking people surrounding him with the fucking weapons and shit, and it's all about him just going ham. I don't know. But yeah, like I'm saying, I just don't know where they could take it at that point. And I think I would have preferred if he really was after Lori. Like that was his thing. Like they had this weird connection because she got away. I don't know how you could set that up however you want, make it work. But I think it would have been cool because we would have had that like hunting element, right? And then like he could always be on the move at that point, right? Because he's just gonna go wherever she goes. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like the third film could have been set up like pretty good. And I guess the bad part is we would have went back to the 2018 film and went back to like another like trap house, trap house, another like house full of traps type situation, like her compound, because he would just like be looking for her and coming to get her. So I guess we would retread that same space, and maybe that wouldn't work as good because it'd be too much of the same. But I don't know, like I feel like you could find a way to write it to be good because I want to see Michael Hunt. Like that's what's fun. Now I know I'm listing a bunch of cons. Now the pro aspect of this ending is Michael Myers truly being the fucking shape of evil. Bruh, this dude is the shape of evil officially. You know what I'm saying? Like, he is no longer just a human being. This dude was shot by a revolver, close range, multiple times, stabbed fucking a fuck ton of times. He's got to have like 1,000 concussions at this point. Like they shot, stabbed, and beat the fuck out of this dude. This dude got right back up and eviscerated everybody. Bruh just stood up and eviscerated everybody after all that. So at this point, I think we can confirm that Michael Myers, he is the fucking shape. This dude's the force of evil. He's pure evil in solid form. He's the shape. And that's the one aspect I did like, because I was like, when the mob came around and they were like, beating shit out of him, stabbing him and stuff, I was like, whoa, is this how he's going out? Because I mean, at this point, I'm rooting for Michael. At this point, you know what I'm saying? Like, I want Michael to win because I just don't, the movie's not even fun anymore. It's not even, I don't know. But I'm rooting for Michael. And so when he goes out like that, I'm like, damn, like, is that how they gonna do this? And then when he got back up, and I'm like, oh snap, like they're really gonna take it there. Now, there you could play with that, right? And I know they kind of play with this in the sequels that are now, I guess, not canon anymore, or just a different timeline, however you want to look at it, of him, like being possessed or something, something like that, right? Uh, so now I feel like they can play with that. I mean, obviously this dude's not human because he just survived all that. It doesn't need any hospital treatment. Like, he's good. So I don't. I wonder if they will take that. What kind of lore they will spin that with him just being, truly the shape and unkillable at this point. Um, I do wonder how they're gonna do that. And in the third movie, they're actually just gonna finish him off. I'd assume if you blew his head off with like a fucking 12 gauge or something, like, he'd officially be down. I don't know. I am curious how they're gonna play with that though, and if they'll officially end it, like completely end it, or leave it open to make more movies. I don't know, but I feel like they got some options there. So that's the one aspect of the ending that I do like. Is I do like the fact that they made him like the fucking shape of evil, like the force of evil, pure evil. He's not even human anymore. I do like that they took that approach. Big fan of that. Just not a fan of his sole goal being to look out his sister's window, because now I'm wondering what's the setup for the third movie. So that's all my pros right there. And I kind of listed out, I kind of talked about my cons throughout my pro section, right? Big one being the structure of the film. I thought the movie kind of started off good, with Michael, like, wrecking shop, in the old people's house, and just that overall progression. It's always dope when he's just moving towards the house, right? That's the type of stuff that we want to see. We want to see him, going ham. But then that whole hospital section just lost me, and then also the stupidity of, like I said, I get what they're going for. I get the society mob mentality, follow the leader type shit. Like, I get what they're trying to say. Make that analogy with current day society. I get that, but they just did it poorly. It was poor execution because the characters were dumb, the lines, dialogue was cringy, bad writing, for those sections, and just like I said, soap operation. Some of the shots, the way the scenes were structured, and the way the dialogue was delivered, like almost like network television. You know what I'm saying? Like, it just didn't feel right. It didn't feel good. At least that's just me. It might, from a peer's perspective, that might be what you want, but it just didn't work for me. That was a con for me. And I talked about structure. Characters were dumb, cringy, the bad writing. All the little like quotables that kept being repeated. They were just dumb. Like, it's cool to say "Evil dies tonight" one time, but to say it like 50 times, and then, these weird shots of like, like when Tommy had the bat, he's like, "I'm gonna take this bat, and I'm gonna swing it, and I'm gonna kill Michael Myers." You know what I'm saying? Like those weird like shots like that. Like, I'm like, bro, like what are these little seconds? Like, I'm almost wondering if you cut out some of that stuff, like how much better would the movie be? The flashback stuff, I didn't mind that. I felt like the flashback stuff set up, the current present day characters and where they are, like, fine. Like, I didn't have no issues with that. It's cool to see, you know, um, Hawkins fuck up the moment that the doctor could have killed Michael Myers. Like, that stuff was fine. That stuff was cool. I also thought it was cool when they did the flashback. Like, man, young Michael was even more capable. Like, did you guys notice that? Like, I feel like he's strong as fuck as an older. I don't know. Like I said, I don't know if he's human or not. But as an older human, he's a little bit slower, but he's still strong as shit. But I feel like whenever we do the flashbacks, he's moving fast as fuck. Boom, 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 putting up against the wall like real fucking quick. And I'm like, damn, like young Michael was no joke. Um, but yeah, so I thought that was cool. I didn't mind the flashbacks. Uh, but yeah, the way they did the present day versions of those characters is just weird, man. Like, the dialogue was strange, especially Tommy. Like I don't know what they're thinking with the Tommy character. I think it was Tommy, the one with the bat, the other guy with the bat who led the charge in the hospital and he was gathering the mobs. Like even the scenes where he's like trying to gather people felt weird to me. Did it feel weird to y'all? Like it felt weird, man. I'm telling you, it felt like network television, cable network television. Fucking, hey guys, we need some fighters, man. We need some warriors. We're gonna fight back. If you want to fight, you're capable. Hey, come with us, man. We're gonna be over here. It felt weird, didn't it? I can't be the only one that thought it felt like that. It did not feel right. It felt strange, man. I wasn't feeling it. But moving on. Another con that I didn't like was I already mentioned the direction they took Michael Myers. I like the fact that he's pure fucking evil. He's the shape of evil, but I don't like the fact that he's just gonna look out of the window. Like, how are you gonna build a third movie off of that? I'm sure they can find a way, but will it be good? I don't know. Like I said, they go John Wick style. It's an hour and a half of him fucking shit up. Maybe that won't be bad. I don't know. That might not be bad. And then lastly, I also mentioned this too, was just there's not enough like predator hunting, right? Like, Tommy mentioned in the hospital, right? Like, he's an apex predator, but he can't take all of us if we band together. It's like he's an apex predator, but the motherfucker ain't hunting. He's just trying to go home. You know what I'm saying? I want to see him stalk and hunt. That's what I want to see. And like I said, I'm sure Pierce can make that argument of like, hey man, that's not what Michael Myers does. It's not him. I'm like, okay, yeah, that's fair. Like, if you wanted to be true to the lore, that's fair. But make sure you structure the movie a little bit better to make it work. You know what I'm saying? Like, for this movie, I guess it'd be fine if he just wants to look out of the window. But the way they structured everything else, with the characters being so stupid, you know what I'm saying? Like, even some of the moments where they're trying to build tension are dumb. You know what I mean? Like when, what's her name? When Allison and Cameron go to the Myers house and they go in there and they're looking at that closet like, yeah. You ready? All right, you ready? I'm open. Okay, sure. Open it. Boom. You know what I'm saying? Like, even those moments just were not. It wasn't good tension. It wasn't good suspense. I did want to mention. Talk about Michael Myers kills. The one good thing. Well, one of the good things about this movie when he does kill and his sheer brutality. Michael's pure evil. Like this dude's, he's fucked up. Like, so how he beat the fuck out of the boyfriend. He beat the fuck out of Cameron, right? He's banging his head against the railing, and she's just sitting there screaming, "No!" You know what I'm saying? He's like fucking going ham, just tearing this dude's head up, and then he like fucking slams it down one more time, and I guess he breaks the neck or whatever. So then he's going downstairs, and I honestly thought he was gonna walk past him, but this dude's such a monster. Which like I said, that's the one part I like. This dude is a monster, and I wish we would have saw more of it, and I wish the movie would have been focused on it a lot more instead of a lot of the other shit. Because they didn't structure that stuff well with the hospital and the mom mentality and the dialogue and monologues about who's responsible for what, who did what. They spent way too much time on shit, way too cringy, way too comedic. Didn't work. If they would have focused more on him just being like that, just being the monster, like man, when he walked down and he got the camera and he stopped, she's like, no. Michael's like, he played into that. Like you could tell, like Michael, like he saw that she was upset. He's like, oh, I got something for you. He went even more brutal. He grabbed his head, twisted that shit, kept on walking. I'm like, bro, this dude he's crazy for real. And that's the one aspect I did like. That was dope. But yeah, man, there was no like that real tension. Like I was never on the edge of my seat. In fact, I laughed more times than anything else. Cause I laughed at all the cringy shit, man. I was never on the edge of my seat like, yo, oh shit. Like what, what's about to happen next? You know what I'm saying? And even when they tried, right? Because I feel like this is one part. There was one part like this, and I want to say it was in the house where they had like the heartbeat like going and the insanely almost like too much heavy breathing. Like when Cameron and Allison were in the house and just when they try to like really focus on like building that tension with the breathing, too much, didn't work. I think they had like a heartbeat or something going in the background with the score as well. That they tried to artificially build that tension, and I almost feel like it would have been better if it was just silent. But it didn't work. You know what I'm saying? Not as it didn't work as good as it did earlier in the film, where the one lady, and I don't remember her name, where she's hiding behind that tree and she's trying to hold her breath, and you can hear Michael Myers mask breathing. You heard that? Now that scene worked. They tried to replicate that in the house and did it very poorly. It was nowhere near as good. It was almost annoying. You know what I'm saying? There's more moments like that the film, as part of that, just like dumb character stuff and writing, and just weird decisions and choices. But like I said, I spent more time laughing in this movie, and it wasn't just me. I'm telling you guys right now, my whole theater was laughing, and I heard people walking as I was coming out, and I heard people talking about the movie as I was coming out, and I could overhear conversations of people saying like, "Yeah, man, he never like went on the hunt, like he wasn't stalking nobody," and talking about like just people laughing about the shit. I'm telling you, man, like it wasn't it. It wasn't it. Uh, Beyond the beginning, once you got to like that that second act or middle of the film or whatever, it just kind of fell off. If it super fell apart, even more so. Started off strong, like even Tommy's character started off like not that bad. Um, when he's delivering that speech in the beginning of the bar, he's talking about Michael Myers, and I wonder where Laurie is now, and it fucking cut to her on the back of the truck. I'm telling you, man, there's some genuinely good filmmaking moments in this movie that I actually really liked, but the negatives just super outweighed anything and just brought it down to just not being a good movie. The elements for a good movie were there, but they lost them and didn't focus on them and focus on all the other like just cringy, weird, bad choice, negative stuff, and it just fell apart from there. So, but yeah, that's what I think. And I'm sure there's more things that I would love to talk about or mention in terms of specifics about the movie. Um, you know, and I kind of touched on it before with the mom mentality thing, like even that mental patient. It always reminded me of like cancel culture. Like there, that whole mom mentality thing was really speaking a lot to a lot of the issues in society, like cancel culture and all those things. Like that's a point I'm making, right? It's like they were trying to go for some good stuff, but because of the way it was executed, it just didn't work, and that's unfortunate because they could have had some good messages in there, but it just didn't work for me. I get what they're trying to do, but it was just a failed execution on some of those parts where they're trying to make these deep messages that relate back to society. Those failed. I got what they were going for, but it was not structured good. Way too cringe. Um, but yeah, that's my review, man. What am I going on? 37 minutes right now. That's my review. Honestly, I would love to do. I doubt anyone anyone would actually join, because of how small the channel is. But I wish I could do like a live stream, like a live stream review, so that I can get the chat and we can actually discuss and talk about it live. So then because when you look back on a film, you're not gonna remember every single point, and so I'm sure somebody would bring something up that I forgot to mention in this review, and that I would love to dive into it more. So maybe I might try doing that if that's something that y'all be interested in, and me doing like a live stream where we discuss the Halloween Kills in detail, and we can actually discuss about it live and interact and be engaged, and then talk about points that maybe I even missed in this review. Let me know in the comments if y'all be interested in me doing that, because I think that'd be kind of dope, and I would enjoy doing that. I think that'd be dope for sure. But yeah, that's Halloween Kills. That's my in-depth, spoiler filled review. Obviously, I did not think the movie was great. I definitely think they missed the mark. They dropped the ball, because I really liked the 2018 film, but this one was not it for me. I think this one failed and fell on its face hard. And even though it was bad, there were some great moments. I did like the score. The kills were great. That fucking dope ass scene with Michael Myers putting his mask back on. Uh, when the mob surrounded him, that's Michael Myers is a G. I fucking like that scene a lot. That was so dope. I'd love to see that. Just play that. I'm sure it's up on YouTube somewhere already. I'm gonna have to go look that up and watch it again. Like I said, so it had some good moments there. Some good moments were there, but they got lost and overshadowed by the negatives, the cringiness, the just poor writing and dialogue and soap opera-ish, whatever. You get what I'm trying to say. And it's the overall structure and the direction that outweighed those heavily to make the film just not a great one. But that's my in-depth review. What did y'all think about the movie? Did y'all? And I'm sure there's people that like this movie. Of course, because it's all subjective, right? Like that's the kind of the beautiful thing about it is when it comes to music and movies and video games, all that shit. Like people are gonna approach things with different perspectives, have different viewpoints, different analysis, all that stuff, right? Like, and that's what makes it fun to be able to discuss these things because someone can talk about an angle that you didn't even look at, and that will only enhance how you look at things. So drop down in the comments, what y'all thought. Do you agree with me with any of my points? Do you disagree? What are the elements of the movie that you liked? What didn't you like? If you did like the film and it worked for you, let me know in the comments, man. Like I know there's some Halloween purists out there that really like the film, and like I said, I have not watched any reviews from them yet that kind of dive into probably like the background and the lore and why this movie works and makes sense. If any of y'all are watching it, please do drop that down in the comments. I'd love to read it to get that new perspective and angle on it. But yeah, and again, let me know if y'all want me to do like a live stream discussion on this because that'd be kind of cool too to sit down and talk with y'all about Halloween Kills. But that'll do it for the Halloween Kills review. If y'all want me to do a live stream, let me know, and I'll schedule that sometime, maybe even this weekend. If not, maybe some night this week, as more people get the chance to view the film, because people live busy lives. You can't always watch some shit as soon as it comes out. So, but it is on Peacock, by the way, so you can sign up for that. I think it's like $5 a month or something. I don't know. It's like Disney Plus, Amazon, all that shit, Netflix. I doubt it's too expensive, and maybe they'll even have a free trial. You can just watch it real quick. I don't know, but it is on Peacock if you don't want to go to the movies because it is pricey to go to the movies. But hopefully more people can watch it, and we can even have more discussions about Halloween Kills. If you made it this far, it's what 41 minutes, 42 minutes. This review. If you watch this point, thank you so much for tuning in to the whole video. I hope you enjoyed me discussing my my thoughts on Halloween Kills, and just thank you for watching the whole thing. And make sure you guys like and subscribe, share the video, and I'll see y'all in the next one. Take care. Peace.